For the fastest, cheapest, most reliable coins on the market, check out my coin sponsor, MMOXP.com, and use discount code MONEYSHOT to get 5% off your order. Link in the description below. Welcome back, Money Team. This is Madden Money Shot, sniffing the Madden cheese as always. Got my first Madden 24 update video for you guys today because the title update just came out. The second title update just came out for September 1st. I didn't touch on the first one because it was so small that I didn't think it was really worth making a video about. But this one is pretty massive, so it's definitely worth me making a video about. But if you guys want to see me make videos like this more often throughout the year, because I try to keep you guys up to date on especially gameplay changes, make sure to be a subscriber, hit the like button, let me know in the comment section if you want me to continue this series, and I'll make sure to do that. Now I'm gonna get right into the video here. One of the first things before I go over gameplay changes, because I know if you're watching this you probably want to know if any of the glitchy broken plays that I put out still work. This to me is more highlighted by what they didn't change than what they did when it comes to gameplay, because they have a section here where they really go over 3 things that they're aware of, that they say flat out, we're hearing from you, what they're hearing from the community. These are things that they're monitoring and that they're trying to improve, but they did not improve in this game. The biggest one is probably passing accuracy, which is something that I get a lot of people complaining about in my comment section as well. They said that they heard the feedback about passing accuracy specifically inside of Ultimate Team, so they're targeting Ultimate Team, because we all know they don't care about any other game mode other than their money-making cash cow. But at the end of the day, they said that as the cards get better and as teams improve, obviously throughout the year, as as they release more and more highly rated cards, that they expect the passing accuracy to get better, which is why they're not really tweaking it there. But in other game modes, it's a little different. Now, I'm not sure, I don't have a huge issue with accuracy, if I'm being honest. It's hit or miss sometimes. But for the most part, if you watch my gameplays, my throws are pretty accurate and they're pretty consistent. So I don't necessarily have that problem, but I do use one of the better quarterbacks in the game. I use my Eagles a lot, so maybe that's why. I know Jalen Hurts has pretty good accuracy. I mean, he's not Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow when it comes to accuracy, but at the end of the day, I don't really notice a ton of inaccuracy in passing. Let me know in the comment section your guys' take on that. Let me know what game mode you play and what your experience level is, as far as, are you having a lot of inaccurate throws or not, especially the people in head-to-head, because like I said, I don't really have that issue. I don't know about MUT. I can imagine what they're saying about MUT is true. They also have something here about franchise draft classes. One of the biggest areas is definitely the patches they made to Ultimate Team, or I'm sorry, franchise mode, because this year, and they've said this in the offseason, that one of their bigger focuses is getting franchise mode right because of how badly screwed it up last year. That was the whole make or break thing. So there is an issue with the draft classes, apparently. It says the team is aware of an issue that is impacting draft classes and is prioritizing fixes. We'll provide you with an update when we have a timeline. So they don't even have a timeline yet, which is, that's not necessarily encouraging. So I don't know what the draft class issue is, but I do know they have a lot of patches I'll get to later when I get to the franchise area. After that, there's another one here where they say slow UI transitions, which is basically, whenever they're in high traffic screens across all modes of the game. But once again, it's probably more towards MUT, as they do mention Superstar and Ultimate Team once again. I can't say that I noticed that too much going through just head-to-head, which is pretty much all I play. So they're saying that they're trying to work on something to make it a little bit faster when you're going through screen transitions in the coming weeks, they say, in the coming updates. So those are the 3 ones that they point out that are probably the biggest concerns they're hearing about, but they haven't patched yet. So moving on to gameplay. Now this one here, the biggest one in this entire thing to me that they changed is hurry up offense, which is something that it was kind of overpowered. People could run hurry up the entire game, and the defenses, even my defense, which really only has like 1 or 2 adjustments, I was having a hard time at times getting all those adjustments in, 2, 3 adjustments tops to get in to set my defense up. And a lot of people were complaining that that was overpowered, so they did something to slow down the hurry up offense to give defenses a little bit more time to make adjustments, which is cool. That's probably, like I said, that's probably the biggest gameplay change that we have here, with the exception of the next one. The next one, if you think pass rush is a little bit overpowered, it says we fixed an issue that caused edge rushers to shed inside too frequently. So I guess that means they're slowing down the inside shed on defensive ends or edge rushers. So that's something that should quell the pass rush a little bit. There's 2 things that I want to mention that weren't in these patch notes at all that I noticed when I picked up the game, trying to see if my offense and defense still worked. One of them was offensive tackles seem to be doing a much better job and seem to be a little bit quicker to get out on the edges and push the outside guys out further. Like they actually will chase defensive ends. Especially I saw this against Micah Parsons when I was doing it, or Micah Parsons, however you say his name. As everybody's going to say, somebody's going to say in the comments about how I don't pronounce his name right. But I noticed against like speed rushers like that they'll make more of an attempt to push these guys out away from the quarterback, which I thought was cool. And I also noticed that safeties in general, specifically, in certain coverages like cover 4 and cover 2, where they have more responsibility, if there's nothing in their area or their immediate area, I've noticed that they make more of an effort to run backwards and like cover deeper and stuff like that, which is something I wasn't noticing before. So I do think that there were some small changes to the gameplay that they're not necessarily mentioning. So I'm going to go through my ebooks, try to update everything, and try to have that up to date as quick as possible. But I didn't notice a lot of changes. I went through a lot of it already, and I didn't notice a ton of changes. So that's something that, a lot of the stuff, if you bought my ebooks, that stuff should still work. And if you're interested, links in the description below and the top pinned comment. Other than that, there was a couple of individual changes to plays that had broken routes. The gun empty halfback wide RPO stick draw was apparently making defenders come out of coverage, which is something that still happens in a lot of different RPO plays. I mean, since last year, the same RPO, read stick wheels and all that stuff, they're all still the same way, where man coverage defenders will just leave their assignment and go after the quarterback for some reason. So they fixed it in one play, but I doubt they fixed it in all of them, which is probably a bigger issue. There's a lot of individual plays that were patched with broken routes, like gun bunch Y flex verticals and gun trips pets, TEYN, whatever. There's a couple of small issues to individual plays. That's not going to affect a lot of people unless you're using those plays. Fixed a rare issue preventing the offense from snapping the ball after motioning a receiver on shotgun mesh plays. I had an issue in the previous gameplay that I did where every time I flipped the play, it wouldn't allow me to hike the ball. So that's a much bigger issue. I mean, motioning, that's one play that they fixed. They also fixed some touchdown celebrations, like Jalen Waddle's signature celebration wasn't right. Not a huge deal. Fixed an issue, just a lot of celebration issues in general. There's a lot of rare issues I'm not going to go over. I'll try to leave a link in the description for people that want to check out the full article, but there's not a ton to go over here. There are a few more big things when it comes to tuning the abilities. There's 6 abilities here that they tune the effectiveness to make more effective. So these might become, meta in MUT. If you play MUT and you choose your abilities, I use the same team pretty much every single time. I'm an Eagles fan, I use the Eagles, so I won't notice a lot of these. But some of these are tuned to be more effective, which means that they might become broken. They might be like the best things to use. Things like inside shade and outside shade, which to me, that's an ability, not the actual cornerback adjustment that you can make. It would be nice if they fixed that, because I've noticed that the adjustment that you can make as a cornerback and your coverage adjustments, inside shade and outside shade, doesn't seem to change the coverage much, which kind of sucks. But they did change that for players' abilities, which I guess is nice. Once again, taking care of the MUT players, but not really taking care of everybody else. Unstoppable Force is another one. Double or Nothing, Jam Master, Press Elite, and Return Man all were made to be more effective. So if you play MUT, check those out. They might become some of the better options to use, because typically when EA fixes something, they break it. And that's it for gameplay, which I'm cool with, because to be honest with you, the gameplay is pretty good. And typically when they tweak the gameplay too much, they usually break something when they fix something. So I'm glad that they didn't change the gameplay much. That's a win. We'll go over some franchise mode stuff for my franchise followers, which is something I'm thinking about making a league, by the way. Let me know in the comment section if you guys would have interest in that, a subscriber league. They did do a lot when it comes to who had the ability to change appearance of players. Apparently, in a lot of leagues, commissioners were not allowed to do that to CPU players. But if you owned a team, apparently you could change the age, height, or weight of your player. So if you wanted to, make Aaron Rodgers 21 again, I guess you could have did that. Or if you wanted to make your receiver or cornerback 7 foot tall, I guess you could do that. And I don't know if it would have messed up the speed, but obviously there's advantages that can be had there. So they fixed that. They also fixed, apparently, certain injuries would, you could tear your ACL and only have like a 3-week recovery time on one player, but then another player would be out for the year. So apparently there was inconsistent injury timelines. So they apparently tried to fix that. So as far as franchise goes, a lot of small fixes, a lot of them around editing players. On to Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team usually gets the most love, but this patch really, the much larger section is franchise mode. Ultimate Team really just got a lot of small issues fixed. Apparently, one of the stranger ones here was, it says if you completed a challenge when you select the next challenge, a lot of times you would just get an aerial view of an empty stadium, which I was not aware of. That one there probably would be the weirdest one, but a lot of these are just like soft lock issues, or just small visual bugs and stuff like that. Nothing too major. So if you're an Ultimate Team, let me know in the comment section if you're noticing a lot of issues. That's here there's not a lot of patches. We have a couple of patches when it comes to Superstar mode, but they're all kind of based on celebrations. Apparently there was a lot of issues with celebrations. Apparently incorrect people could choose celebrations, people that didn't even make the play, or quarterbacks weren't getting enough celebration options when it came to when they would get first downs, or things like that. Game winning, it says fix an issue in Superstar Showdown preventing the chosen TD celebration from triggering on a game winning touchdown. I don't know who, I mean, obviously celebrations are fun, but I want to stick to stuff that's really, altering the experience of the game, and I don't think that that's really a huge one, but that's pretty much the biggest one for Superstar mode. Next up, we're going to go and get the NFL authenticity, because there's a lot of players that got their player likenesses updated, which is obviously something that a lot of people, I see a couple players on here that I'm definitely interested in, like the Eagles first round pick Jalen Carter. I don't think that Nolan Smith got an update yet, but Jalen Carter's up there. You also got Aaron Rodgers, which is, I guess, is just an update based on the fact that he's in New York, but I'm sure they have his likeness in the game already. You got also Patriots cornerback first round pick Christian Gonzalez, Jalen Petrie, who's been in the game for at least 2 years now with the Texans. He finally got his likeness. Miles Murphy, first round pick from the Bengals. Packers Luca Van Ness, first round pick, I think. And Seahawks Boy Mafia, who I think was like a third round pick last year, or second round pick last year for the Seahawks. So a couple of new guys there. They also made some changes to the audio, which looked kind of interesting, where they increased the volume of collision sounds like blocking, tackles, etc. That I like, is because if you notice in my gameplays, I always try to emphasize the big hits and stuff like that. So increasing the volume of that's pretty cool. They also did that with the sound effects and crowd chants to try to bring more immersion. So I like these updates. These are pretty cool. These to me probably feel a little bit bigger than some of the other ones that I read earlier. Variety of commentary, bug fixes, and tuning. Said added 1,900 lines of new commentary from Brandon Gowden and Charles Davis, the guys that comment or that say the game, which is cool because you need to keep that refreshed. Obviously, you need a lot of just to keep the game feeling fresh, to have them not saying the same things over and over again. I mean, sometimes you're the guy's talking and you're scoring on a game-winning interception return. They're not even talking about it, so it's like that's something I would hope that they would fix. They do, like, if the guy's rambling on about something and a huge play happens, eventually it will interrupt, and then it'll come to a more obviously commenting on the play that's happening. But that would probably be something that I would definitely like to see them improve. It also says additional crowd logic and tuning, which, things like that really help with the immersion of the game. So as always, if you guys want to see me continue this series, like I said, make sure you hit the like button, let me know in the comment section. I'll have a video popping up of some of the offenses and defenses that I use pre-patch that still work, because obviously I checked them all out. So if you guys want to see the best offense and defense to use, I'll have that popping up on screen right now. So just click the links, as I'm sure it'll help with your game. And that's it. Thanks for watching, man. My shit out. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.